Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another Sanity stream, the place where you go to gain a little bit of your sanity back in what has become a minefield known as U.S. American politics. I got a really spicy show for the coal factory today. We're going to be talking about a local story where a woman comes and serves papers of treason to local government officials in Palm Beach, Florida. I have the ongoing crisis going with Donald Trump saying that he is going to be pulling federal funding from cities that do not stop the anarchy on the streets. I have a story about Nancy Pelosi, of course, her Marie Antoinette moment and her doubling down on that moment and actually blaming the salon owner for her own discretions. And of course, we're going to be finishing up here with our favorite mayor in the entire United States, Ted Wheeler, of course, going on a full tirade on Twitter, blaming the president for everything going on in his city, as well as some undercover information that I have stumbled upon about how exactly Antifa is showing up so quickly to a lot of these riots in Portland. With that said, let's get straight into the show. First thing I'm going to be showing here is a video where a woman in Palm Beach County, Florida, is going scorched earth on all of these absolutely inept government officials. She is serving them papers for treason, for going against the American people, moving outside of their range of power, and simply setting edicts to people, to us lonely plebs, to us common folk, which we must, of course, follow to the letter, where, of course, our corrupt politicians are not held to the same standard. We, the people, will always fight back. Thought this nice little video will make you very happy. So check this out.
Cindy Falco Decorado.
You are served. You are served. You are served. You are served.
In the future, please do not approach the dais. We'll have you removed from the chamber. Please get off here and get back to the microphone. If you have something to give to us, you can give it to the clerk or a member of the county staff.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Let me share what I just served. I just served.
What a beast. Where are the patriots like this? Look, this is a mother. This is a, an older, mid-range aged woman, and she's just sick of it. She is sick and tired of these politicians telling us what we can and can't do. If there is, in terms of this whole thing going on with the pandemic, if there is an actual threat to society, that threat has been virtually dissolved. If you look at the recent CDC numbers that they pointed out, where only 6% died from the C disease, whereas 94% of the other people that died had comorbidities, with an average of 2.6 comorbidities when they were presumed dead. That is absolutely insane. Clearly, obviously, take precautions, wear a mask if you feel it is appropriate, but this has been blown way out of proportion, and people need to wake up to the fact that this is absolutely insane. This woman has so much courage, and she's a true patriot, and I'm behind her 100%. She's going to lay out the what she just served to the people.
Palm Beach County, Florida. The non-negotiable notice of complaint is to inform the Palm Beach County Mayor, Dave Kerner, Vice Mayor Robert S. Weinroth, Palm Beach County Commissioners Melissa McKinley, Gray K. Weiss, Matt Bernard, Mary Lou Berger, and Hal R. Valdeshay, and the Palm Beach County Administrator, Verdina C. Baker, of the following violations.
The following violations.
You are all under violation and operating outside of your oaths of office, and both the Florida State and the U.S. Constitution. You are all acting outside of the authority of your office and do not have the governing authority to shut down Palm Beach County and mandate anything.
Exactly, guys. These people do not have this type of power, and yet we are so willing and able to give up our rights in the needs of safety. This is absolutely abhorrent. It is very clear at this point that this particular disease is not nearly as bad as they're stating it to be. It's absolutely absurd, the draconian measures that people are trying to still push on us to this very day. If you look at the country that locked down the most, Peru, they had literally their military out there patrolling the streets, not allowing anyone to leave their homes. And what happened? They have the most deaths out of the entire world if you were to average their population compared to everyone else. It is absolutely insane. When you do stuff like this, all you are doing is pushing back when the spread will start. The spread is not going to stop completely, and there's absolutely nothing you can do to stop it. You can do preventative measures, but shutting down the economy, ruining people's lives, creating even more problems that people aren't even talking about. Suicide, alcoholism, domestic violence, children at home all the time and stuff like that. This gets people crazy. It gets them in a frenzy. It's like being in prison. And when you're in a place as free as America, you have to be willing to fight for your rights. If you're not willing to fight for your rights, you are not a patriot. I forget who said it. It was said the tree of liberty is watered with the blood of tyrants, and it's the truth. People think today we've had it so easy. If you look at the 1990s and the 2000s, if you simply put your money into just about any one of those stocks, back then, you would be a millionaire or a multimillionaire. Things have been so good for so long, and people haven't had to fight to hold and keep their freedom. These are unalienable rights. They're not given to us by the government. They are God-given rights. They are our rights. The government doesn't give us our rights. Our rights are inherited by the Lord and God himself. It doesn't even matter if you believe in God. Just think of it as a creator. Like these, if we are in savannah, or if we were in a forest, or if we were in a tribe, these would be rights that every single person could agree to. And that's what the Constitution is ultimately about. It's about creating the most free and prosperous society that you can possibly have. And when these government officials overextend their authority, we should work within the system, not go out and burn and pillage and destroy. We should work within the system that they created to enact the change that we truly desire. With that said, you can continue to watch the video. It's up on Twitter by Dre Bongnakaksi. Yeah, check that out. It's pretty cool. Next thing we're going to go into is Trump orders review to defund New York City and other anarchist cities. Now, let's just take a look. Obviously, you know what's going on in New York, Washington, D.C., Seattle, and Portland are now targets for Trump. I'm honestly surprised Chicago isn't in there as well, although they have had a pretty decent crackdown with those federal agents going in and helping. With that said, when these particular cities refuse to enforce the law and are allowing their citizens to be basically terrorized every single day, and their leaders refuse to actually protect the people that brought them into power, those people do not deserve federal dollars. There is nothing in the Constitution that states that the federal government is required to give those states money. And the fact that these ongoing riots and ongoing just chaos and craziness, people's lives uprooted and destroyed, 30 plus people dead since the start of George Floyd, and now you have Black Lives Matter and Antifa going around just basically causing absolute lawlessness, and these governors and these prosecutors refuse to actually do their job, then you have no choice, and I am 100% for this. Let's get these people in line. It's absolutely disgusting. Of course, not everyone is going to like this. So, of course, Governor Andrew Cuomo has this wonderful quote, which he says to Donald Trump. He better have an army if he thinks he's going to walk down the street in New York. New Yorkers don't want to have anything to do with him. The Democrat said, all but threatening the commander-in-chief. He can't have enough bodyguards to walk through New York City. People don't want to have anything to do with him. This is actually insane. What do you mean, him and what army? I don't know. How about the U.S. Army? How about the U.S. Navy? How about the U.S. Air Force, the U.S. Coast Guard, the U.S. Marine Corps, the U.S. Space Force? How about that army? This guy's playing with fire. And it really does. It boggles my mind that these blue states continue to bring in these bureaucrats and absolutely corrupt politicians, and then they simply they just live under their thumb their entire life. And even worse, they protect these people when they could have much better. Much, much better. With that said, let's move on to crazy Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi says she believes San Francisco hair salon visit was a setup. So, of course, I followed my last podcast. I talk about Nancy Pelosi having her Marie Antoinette moment, rules for thee but not for me, going to a hair salon in San Francisco and, basically being called out, not wearing a mask, going into a hair salon where, us everyday normal plebs can't. But she can. You know why? Because she's Nancy Pelosi, and Nancy Pelosi can do whatever the hell she wants, don't you know? It's like we're under British law with these people. They are absolutely disgusting human beings, and we have to push back against this. I am absolutely disgusted, but again, people are going to protect her. I do love the ratio on this video. It's absolutely exciting. ABC 7, obviously a local network, but it's absolutely insane. Let's see exactly what the wonderful Nancy Pelosi has to say.
There are many over the years. I've been there many times. I appreciate the question. And let me just say this. I take responsibility for trusting the word of a neighborhood salon that I've been to over the years many times. And that when they said, well, we're able to accommodate people one person at a time, and that we can set up that time, I trusted that. As it turns out, it was a setup. So I take responsibility.
Oh, she says it was a setup. Well, according to reports that are coming out, it was actually one of her people that called and set up the appointment. It was never the person reaching out and asking her if she wanted to go there. So she was the active participant.
Responsibility for falling for a setup. And that's all I'm going to say on that.
Do you think you owe the service industry an apology? I just spoke to a San Francisco barber who's a fan of yours. He supports you, but he thinks you owe the service industry an apology.
Well, I don't. I think that they owe, that this salon owes me an
No, she doesn't owe them an apology because us plebs, us just normal people, she can't be bothered with us. God willing, we want to get our hair cut. God willing, we want to go out and eat. God willing, we want to have a life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. No, because it's rules for thee, but not for me. I can do whatever I want because I'm an elected bureaucrat. I am an elected official that can basically undermine every single law that is created. She is supposed to know the laws of San Francisco. She's a freaking lawmaker. She doesn't know what's shut down and what isn't. Please, it's absolute garbage.
apology for setting up. But I will say this, in fairness to him and in sympathetic to him, we have to get our country moving again. And I will not let this subject take away from the fact that we have 180,000 plus people.
You want to get the country moving again. Every single major shutdown is in New York, it's in New Jersey, it's in California, it's in blue states, guys. They don't want the country to move forward. You know why? Because this is ultimately about an election. They don't want the economy to start churning again. They don't want the Trump economy to start booming again because they don't want him to look good. So they will literally destroy people's lives, have absolutely zero care in the war, in the world, zero remorse. They don't care about people. They only care about their means to attain power. It's absolutely disgusting. They're not held to the same standard as everyone else. And then they use this blanket ban where they shut down entire cities, entire industries. Those people aren't getting money. They left. They went on vacation. They decided to go on vacation when people were running out of money. People are starving. People's businesses are still closed. And yet they have the audacity to try to talk down to us. It blows my mind. These people are gross.
Who have died from this virus. Since we passed the bill, more than half of those people have died since we passed the legislation. 4.6 million, I know, 4.6 million have become infected since we passed the legislation. And there are answers. There are scientific answers.
Oh my God, can you imagine? God, she's talking so much and saying absolutely nothing, guys. I'm starting to get a brain aneurysm just listening to this stuff. Let's continue. You know what? Let's speed it up a little bit. Maybe we can get through this malarkey.
For this, 96,000 people have
She must get her talking points from Joe Biden.
died since we passed the HEROES Act. So they want to jump on this. I think it's really important for us to pass the bill So in a scientific way, we can address the virus and we can bring people back to work. I have been inundated by people who are in the hair service industry saying, thank you for calling attention to this. We need to get back to work. We need to get back to work.
Yeah, they need to get back to work. These are states that are shutting stuff down. It's not the federal government. These are states that are shutting down. Florida's open. I've been going to the gym for months. I've been getting my hair cut done for months. No issues whatsoever. And they used Florida as the means to say that, oh my God, what a bad job Florida's doing. Guys, look at New York. Look at New Jersey. Look at Massachusetts. I think Florida's ranked number 16 right now. And we are basically comparable in terms of population with New York. Blows my mind. Over 10,000 dead people in nursing homes in New York, and they're going to point at Florida.
Many of them annoyed at the setup that was there for a purpose that has nothing to do with...
Can you imagine? Just doubling down, doubling down, doubling down. These people have no remorse. They don't care about anyone but themselves. Of course. Mayor Ted Wheeler, news just in, by the way, that he is moving out of his condo. Moving out of his $800,000 condo and moving on to greener pastures. It is absolutely insane. Of course, he's received the news that Donald Trump is no longer going to be sending federal dollars to Mr. Mayor Ted Wheeler. I'm sure you love the ratio here going on with Mayor Ted Wheeler. Let's take a look. Oh, yeah, that's right. 4.7 comments to 1,000 likes. Gotta love it, ladies and gentlemen. Gotta love it. This guy is an absolute clown. Let's see what he has to say. Mayor Ted Wheeler of Portland. Trump threatens to withdraw federal funds, possibly including health, education, and safety net dollars Americans are relying on to get through this pandemic and economic crisis. Once again, only progressive communities with Democratic mayors, which he labels anarchist jurisdictions, including Portland, are targeted. This is a new low, even for this president. He continues to believe this disenfranchising people living in this country to advance his petty grudges in an effective political strategy. The rest of us know it is dangerous, destructive, and divisive. You know what's dangerous, destructive, and divisive? Letting your city burn, be looted, and people now dying on the streets. A Trump supporter killed just for having faith in the president. Just shot, just executed for no reason whatsoever other than liking the president of the United States. Why should our tax dollars be going to Portland when you refuse to enforce the law? And then your DA refuses to prosecute, and you have no bail, and you just let these people out to do it over and over and over again. Oh, and by the way, 2 of those people that you allowed to be free for after rioting, destroying, attacking, and assaulting police officers and civilians, they ended up killing people. One ended up stabbing people, and the other guy ended up executing someone. And by the way, he's still at large. And are they going to say that it's Antifa? Are they going to say that it's BLM? No. He has it on his Facebook that he's 100% Antifa, and he has a black power fist on the side of his neck. Absolutely disgusting. But once again, do I expect the media to cover it? No. The rest of the taxpaying America does not want to support your incompetence and failure to keep law and order in your cities. Floods and hurricanes are nobody's fault, and we will pitch in to help those victims. Your voters elected you so they can live with the results. Damn right, rogue. Oh my God. This guy he's truly inept. He truly is a clown. It's projection to the extreme. Now, this only has 3,000 views. So I will consider this insider information. Check out TheDonald.win if you haven't already. It's an absolutely fantastic site for like-minded patriots who support the President of the United States and want to see America great again. With that said, let's take a look at this video. What this guy is going to be highlighting here is all of these tents in the middle of Portland. Now you're probably wondering, what is this? You know, these are probably homeless people, right? And that's where you would be wrong. This is where the Rose City Antifa actually stay and live. So they sleep here during the day and then they come out at night and they riot. And it's always really weird. It's like, how are they able to get to downtown and start destroying and looting and burning things so quickly? You know, you would think, you know, they'd be living here, some would maybe be living outside of the city, some would be living in the suburbs, etc. No, they all group together. They all stay in their happy little, Chaz Chop areas. Let's just take a look at it.
I find myself currently over here close to Hawthorne Bridge, I believe it to be, right in between Hawthorne Bridge and Burnside Bridge. The bus just stopped, and a legitimate issue right here, I would say. This is funded by the city, and what it houses is absolute anarchists.
They literally are holding the Rose City Antifa here. What I really don't understand about this particular movement, though, and I'm really finding it hard and difficult to get this, is that if the left really did want Trump out, they wouldn't be encouraging the violence. If you actually read Saul Alinsky's book, Rules for Radicals, it's basically a handbook to getting into power if you're on the left. I guess you could use it on the right as well, but it's the man speaks from a more leftist point of view. He actually states in the introduction and the first chapter of the book that if you are to engage in violence, it pushes people to the right, because people don't want, their cities burned. They don't want their communities uprooted. They don't want, violence and chaos in the streets. And so every time that happens, people move to the right, so they move closer to Trump. So, I mean, philosophically, I really don't understand the means of Antifa. I understand that they're black bloc and they, do it on purpose to try to hide their face. And ultimately, it is about uprooting the system as is. But they don't have the numbers. And I think when you see all the chaos that's going on, it simply pushes people away from their particular movement. With that said, let's just continue.
People that refuse to conform and cause damage every single night, and then get to come back and are housed and given money and protected under the same rights and liberties that they spit upon.
True. I mean, these people say they are living in a fascist country, and yet they're able to go on social media. They're never targeted. They never have any of their posts pulled down. They dox people. They threaten people. They attack people. They kill people. And yet there is no justice. It blows my mind. If this was a fascist country, if you said anything negative about the president or any government official, you would be thrown in jail and the key would be thrown away. This is not a fascist country. This is a free country. We can work to make it freer, but their end goal is utopia, their end goal is socialism, their end goal is communism, and I will not have it. Not without a fight, anyway.
They have this privacy. Continue.
I do want to skip ahead here. Of course, Rose City Antifa doesn't want people knowing about this particular tent community, so this is when the violence begins.
While I videotape this assault. No, this is where anarchists live, simpleton. There are no rules in life, simpleton. Are you not an anarchist? There are zero rules. I am do as thou wilt is the only rule. Do as thou wilt, correct? They're just so hypocritical. They've had so much given to them off the blood, sweat, and tears of individuals.
Yeah. He has to leave because obviously he starts getting attacked. He's in a public area that isn't owned by anyone. He has all the right to film in the world, but of course, when you can't beat someone with your ideas, you have to resort to violence, and that is ultimately what Antifa is all about. Sorry guys, low energy today. Coal factory getting stuff going, but I really just wanted to let you know the lowdown of what's going on with the news right now. Please let me know what you think of these particular videos. I'm going to continue posting. I did miss an episode the other day, but ended up going with the double video. With that as it may. If you enjoy this type of content, please make sure to like, subscribe, and or comment. Join the Coal Factory. Subscribe if you like messages like this. Support being a patriot in America and fighting these fascists, these commies. And let's get our country back, ladies and gentlemen. I'll see you in the next video. I love you. Peace.